organization is controlling this part, the Gaza Strip, and we have to make sure that weapons do not go inside Gaza to use against Israel. In the West Bank, most of the Palestinian territories is running by the PLO, okay? And the checkpoints is very little. Inside the main cities of the Palestinians, they don't have any checkpoints. Only when you get near Israel, you have checkpoints. It's necessary to defend the citizens of Israel.
Can I comment?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the problem with what Israel wants a three-state solution. They don't want a two-state solution. What Israel really wants, and the norm actually says it, they want to separate the Palestinians from the Israelis, but they want to keep Area C to the Israelis, want to give the Palestinians two states, one in the West Bank and one in Gaza. They don't want the Palestinian factions to reconcile, and so they want Gaza to be alone in a separate state. They want the Palestinians in Fatah to be on the West Bank with Area A and parts of B. They don't want to give up all of B, and they want to retain C, Israel, C, and part of B. And that's not going to happen. Noam said there's no checkpoints. Well, what checkpoints there are, they're dehumanizing. To get from Ramallah to Berzeit, for example, would normally should take 10 minutes, takes hours. This is crazy. This is nuts. This is not the way we should be living. Problem is, Israel doesn't understand the human spirit of people all around. The Palestinian human spirit wants to be free, just like the black South Africans, just like the people from India wanted to be free, and they overthrew the mighty Europe, the mighty Britain Empire. Just like the blacks in America wanted to be free, the human spirit of the Palestinian is something that Israel cannot control. They try to control it, but they can't. Israel cannot continue to dominate millions of Palestinians day in and day out. They cannot, and they know they can't.
Comment to Fadi. You're right. You don't want the Palestinian for the same reason that you say in the beginning of the conversation, that in a few years, the demographics, the Palestinians will be more than the Jews in Israel. So it's a problem. If it will be one state, we will lose the Jewish identity of the country. Okay?
Can I interrupt right there? Can I answer that right that point?
Yeah, go ahead.
May I?
Okay.
There can always be there can always be constitutional guarantees to allow Israelis all over the world to migrate to Palestine if there's one state. That can be controlled. We can have some sort of legislative body that guarantees certain rights for all religions. That can be taken care of. A one-state solution is the only solution.
Let me stop you right there. Okay? You mean the guarantees like in Lebanon or in Egypt? Show me an example in the Arab world that this kind of thing that suggesting succeed without hijacking the country to radical Islam.
I don't understand the question.
Maybe I will start with the answer.
Well,
you understand.
He's asking for an example of where that has effectively been done. Transitioning, let's say, in the Arab world, transitioning of a people into another country, I guess. And it be done effectively.
People from hold on a second. people in the 1700s came to America from all over the world. They came from France, they came from Spain, they came from Britain, they came from the Netherlands, and they became one people. That's not a problem. We can have constitutional guarantees in a one-state solution that will guarantee the rights of all religions and of all peoples, freedom to worship, freedom to speak, freedom to vote. We can guarantee certain things that, even if the Palestinian majority, we can guarantee certain rights for the Jewish people in such a constitutional government that will protect them and that will alleviate any of the worries. I believe that the Israelis have one major fear. Just let me finish this one point. The Israelis have one major fear. They have been subjugated to many atrocities throughout history. And they want a safe haven for Jews to be able to go in the event of a problem, that just like the Holocaust or any other matter. That can be guaranteed that the Jews around the world can still come to a Palestinian-Israeli state to help them find that safe haven that they seek. I think that is the general security question that the Israelis around the world and the Jews around the world are seeking. That can be guaranteed in a constitution, in a one-state solution.
Okay, so give me one example of a country with a majority of Muslims that this concept is succeed over there. Okay?
I'm telling you, it will succeed if there are constitutional guarantees that prevent any majority of the Muslims to take actions against the Christians or the Jews. There can be constitutional guarantees that can be provided in the legislative, in the national constitution. It can guarantee everybody's right to freedoms of religion, of speech, of assembly, of all these things. There can be constitutional guarantees that will allow all things to happen.
Okay. In Lebanon, there are free to, the minority has equal rights over there. What's going on in Lebanon?
I'm not talking about Lebanon. I'm not talking
I just want to give you an example.
Talking about Palestinians and Israelis. I think we need to learn to live together. I believe that we are a people of goodwill. There's many goodwill people in Palestine and Israel that need to come together and start living together. And with constitutional guarantees in place, we can live together.
Okay.
Do you think that is like a short term? Do you think amongst Israelis, Noam, they feel a sense of wanting to live amongst one another, or not really? What's your sense of Israeli people?
The funny thing here is that the left people want two-state solution, and if you go to the far right, they will want one-state solution.
Yeah,
the far right Israel, what?
Go on.
No, I'm just saying that the far right in Israel, one state for Israelis and Palestinians.
No, I think the far right wants one state, period, just for Israel. They don't want a Palestinian state. That I don't believe that they want. If they can get rid of the Palestinians, they would. They would.
I think that 2 weeks ago, Max had a discussion over here with, I don't remember his name, but he was from Naftali Bennett party. You remember, Max?
Yes.
They're talking about one-state solution.
Yep.
And another one.
Yes.
He's from the right in Israel, and he's suggesting exactly what Fadi is suggesting: one state for everybody. And,
that's the only solution. There's no other solution. Israel doesn't want a two-state solution. They want a three-state solution, and that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Palestinians will not accept that. Even if there's the time for a two-state solution is over. The Israeli settlement policy and what they're doing in the West Bank has diluted any chance of a two-state solution. Therefore, the only solution is a one-state solution, and Israel has to accept that. The demographics will force them to accept it, just like the white-only majority in South Africa finally came to the realization that they cannot control millions of people, the majority of blacks. Israel is going to come to that realization sooner than later. They have to come to that realization. They cannot continue to deprive the Palestinian human spirit of freedom. They can't, and they will not.
All the time you compare the Palestinian to the black in Africa. This is not the case. I'm sorry for it. This is
sure it is. Israel's an apartheid state. What Israel is doing is an apartheid. Yes, it is.
Israel is not an apartheid.
Let me ask you a question. No, okay, let me ask. Is there a Jewish-only road? Can I answer that question? Can you answer that question? Is there Jewish-only roads in Israel?
I don't hear you. I'm sorry. Say again.
Is there Jewish-only roads in Israel?
In Israel?
Can you ask him the question, Max?
Yeah. No, do you hear?
Yeah, I hear the question. I'm just asking inside Israel?
Yes, he's saying inside Israel.
Not in the West Bank.
There's Jewish-only roads on the West Bank, right?
It was roads that open for Israeli citizens, but now after Bagatz decided, it's open for everybody. But it's not. Are
you telling me that there is no Jewish-only roads from the settlements to Israel? Are you telling me that?
Inside Israel, not only Jewish, only Israeli citizen road. Yeah. Only Israeli citizens can go inside.
So Palestinians cannot travel on those roads, is that correct?
Palestinian is not a citizen of Israel. He cannot enter Israel. Yes, it's correct.
Let me ask you another question. Are there separate...
A Mexican can fly into the United States without, a visa or a checkpoint or something?
Let me ask you a question. On the West Bank...
I asked you a question. Answer me.
What's the question?
A Mexican man can take a car and ride into the United States in a road without a checkpoint or border control or nothing?
No, but hold on a second. The answer is no. But let me ask you a question.
No. Okay.
On the West Bank, are there Israeli citizens on the West Bank?
Yes.
Okay. Then, are there Palestinians on the West Bank?
Yes.
Okay. Then, are Israeli citizens on the West Bank and Palestinians on the West Bank treated equally?
No.
Apartheid state. Are there?
No, this is according to the international law. Fadi, let me comment on it. I'm sorry, you can subject to a subject.
If two people are not treated equal,
they're not
treated equal within the law, that's an apartheid state. Israelis on the West Bank are treated differently than Palestinians on the West Bank. That's the definition of an apartheid state.
No. This is the international law. You need to understand.
Well, Fadi.
The West Bank, it's a occupied territory. From who? I don't know. Maybe from Jordan, but not from Palestine. Wait a minute. By the international law, the state that is occupied territory the Israeli law does not appeal on the Palestinian, on the occupied territory, okay? But the Russian law,
under occupied law, Israelis cannot settle occupied lands.
No, this is incorrect. Go see the international law about occupied territories.
Fadi, can I ask a question?
It's not occupied, it's disputed territories.
Fadi,
we occupied from who? From Jordan? From who? Because we didn't occupy the territory from Palestine, because it was no Palestine. There was never a state of Palestine. There was never a state of Palestine. There was never a state of Palestine with there were 3 states of Israel. Go learn history and you will see. And all the time Jerusalem was the capital of this state.
Yeah.
Israel was under.
I want to ask
occupation for a long time. For a long time.
No, I'm going to ask.
Go to the history and you see.
Fadi, do you think that pro-Palestinian activists, when they make the direct comparison of apartheid in South Africa to apartheid in Israel right now, do you think that there are resemblances of it, but to the extent that it existed inside of South Africa, was a little bit more extreme? What are your thoughts on sometimes the the level of apartheid that pro-Palestinian activists will accuse Israel of? Do you think that sometimes it is like you bring up there are separate roads, but then Israelis will say there are whatever it is 20 or 30% of their population inside the Israeli borders are Muslims and people that believe in Islam, so it's got a very diverse culture within its borders. Do you think that sometimes the apartheid label in direct comparison to South Africa is taken a little bit too extreme?
I do not think it's taken to extremes at all.
Okay.
On the West Bank, let's look at the West Bank. Israel controls the West Bank. You have Israelis in the settlements, illegally I might add, and the Palestinians. 2 peoples treated differently under the law. Israeli soldiers are allowed to carry, Israeli settlers are allowed to carry guns. They can build their homes. They have swimming pools. Palestinians are denied water. They can't even grow vegetation as they like. Then you have checkpoints for Palestinians, no checkpoints for Israelis in the West Bank going to Israel. You've got different laws in the Palestinians.
Let him finish. No, let him finish.
Different laws for Palestinians than you have for Israelis. The justice system. We're here talking about the prisoners here. And we're talking about Isawi. I'm sure if it was an Israeli, there's no administrative detentions for Israelis. There's administrative detentions for Palestinians. This is a system where it treats 2 different people differently. It's wrong. Apartheid. That label fits onto Israel, and Israel will have to accept it sooner rather than later because of the demographic.
Okay, go ahead. No.
I'm confusing everything. You take everything and mix it. Max, I'm going to mute you because you have a large echo from you, okay? I'm sorry. The West Bank is not Israel, and the Palestinians that live in the West Bank are not Israeli citizens.
But Israel controls it. But Israel controls the West Bank.
Most of the West Bank is controlled by the people. They have their own system.
That is completely wrong. It's only 22% of the land, and out of that 22%, probably half of it is really controlled by the Palestinians. That's wrong.
No.
Go on.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
Okay. If you look about the citizens of Israel, they are all equal. Okay. So if an Israeli citizen and a Palestinian that is not an Israeli citizen want to enter Israel, it's not apartheid not to let the Palestinian not to go inside Israel. It's like, I don't know, like I said, it's like a Mexican trying to...
Talk about the West Bank. Is there different license plates for Israelis in the West Bank and for Palestinians on the West Bank? Okay.
Yes.
Why?
I will tell you why. Because the Palestinian population in the West Bank are not Israeli citizens. By the international law, the law that we are doing over
it's a way of identifying who is a Palestinian, who is an Israeli. It's discriminatory. Palestinians with Palestinian license plates cannot travel on roads for Jewish only roads.
So
That is discriminatory. That is an apartheid state.
You keep saying only Jewish road, only Jewish road. This is
There are Jewish roads.
Wait, show me, okay, show me. I want to see by law, okay. I want to see by law.
You also have laws in Israel, within Israel. You want to talk about it within Israel? I'll talk within Israel.
Whatever you
have laws on your book that allow communities to vote on whether a person can move into certain communities. A clear indication that the Israelis don't want to mix the Palestinians and Israelis together, that they want to exclude Palestinians from Jewish areas. That is a clear indication that there's apartheid within Israel. And there was a recent poll within Israel that the Israelis want to have that kind of system. They want to be separate from Palestinians. They do approve of apartheid style of government within Israel. That's clear.
Okay. Did you ever been in Israel?
Was the question, Max?
yes, if you've ever been to Israel.
I have been, yes.
Where have you been in Israel?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
He said,
Where have you been in Israel?
I've been around. I went to Israel in '95. I'm planning to go back this summer.
Where?
Where?
You go where? Where did you go?
I traveled around, yes. I traveled around, yes. In Tel Aviv, everywhere.
And you didn't see, you all the time say Palestinian citizens. Not all of the citizens, the Arab citizens in Israel, consider the same Palestinian. But okay, I will go with you. Did you ever see a Palestinian inside Tel Aviv?
Did I ever see a Palestinian where?
inside.
Tel Aviv,
Well,
so
the question is not whether there's Palestinians in Israel or not. The question is, what are the laws? Okay, the community approval law that you guys have in Israel allows Israeli communities to vote on whether they want a certain person in a community or not. That's just a way to exclude Palestinians out of the Israeli community.
No. This law. This law, if you have a small community that build a town or a kibbutz or whatever, they have the right to have a committee that decide who will get inside the community, who will not get inside the community. They can reject me as also. But if a citizen of Israel want to live in Tel Aviv, want to live in Beersheba, want to live in Ashkelon, there are no law at all that not allow him to live over there. I will tell you, my hometown, Fadi, my hometown is Arad. It's the Negev, it's the desert, okay? And we have lots of Bedouin town around us. Lots of Bedouin, I think over 50% of my town, Bedouin, if you want to call them Palestinian, okay, are now living inside Arad. And it's okay. They are part of the town, they are, I don't know, everything is normal. But I'll tell you something, if I will want to go and build a house inside Arab town, like Rahat, if you're familiar with the name, Rahat or Seifa, or I don't know what, it's like 20 minutes from my hometown. Most of the chances that they will burn my house before it will get built. So I don't know what kind of laws you're talking about. Give me the law. I never heard about them.
You don't know about the law that allows communities to vote on whether a Jew member can be in a community or not? You don't know about that law?
This law, I give small communities the right to decide who they want the part of their community. You understand?
If that law was in America, that would be declared unconstitutional. If that law was in America, that would be unconstitutional. Okay?
Okay, but we're not in America. We're in Israel.
Let me ask you another question. What about the buses that make women sit in the back? What about the right-wing buses that take people from to the right-wing villages that they don't allow women to sit in the front? They force women to sit in the back. What about that?
You know, it's just.
That's a cultural thing. It may not be a law, but that's a cultural thing.
Let me answer you. Okay. You just show me how little you know. Because these buses is not only for the far right cities in the West Bank. I don't know
but they force women to sit in the back.
Wait, I will get into it. Don't worry. I know what you're talking about. Let me explain you what is it. And I'm against it too. This bus is a special lines of Eged. Eged is a transportation company in Israel, the biggest one of buses. That catalog especially for religious people. Okay, by law, there is no law that make a woman sit in the back. It was like a big thing in Israel that somebody take film of this and everybody jump.
It may not be law. Let me stop you there. It may not be law, but culturally it's wrong. Even culturally,
It's like
white-only drinking fountains in America that they used to have. There was no law that said that. There were whites-only drinking laws and white-only bathrooms, which is wrong.
But it's not the case. Come on. By the way, it was being to an Israeli soldier, female soldier, by an Orthodox Jews. There was no Palestinian over there. Okay, calm down. It was an Israeli female soldier.
Listen, I have to go now. It's 1:30. Listen, hold on a second. It's 1:30. I see Max has left. I have to go too. Okay? I'm sorry. It's 1:30. I realize I have to be somewhere at 2. Nice talking to you, Mom. Nice talking to you.
Father.
Bye-bye.